In this video, I'm going to show you how to grow your local business so fast that it feels illegal, using the exact same strategies that helped my companies generate nearly $50 million in revenue this year alone. And the crazy part is your competitors could do this too, but they won't, and that's your advantage. Now, this first tip doesn't occur to most business owners at first, but once you understand it, it becomes so obvious that you'll wonder why you never did this before. And once you start doing this, everything gets easier. It's easier to run ads. It's easier to grow. It's easier to get results for your clients. But if you don't do this, you're always going to struggle. Most business owners that I talk to are typically focused on just one thing, and that thing is, how do I get leads and clients as cheaply as possible? But that's actually the wrong question. The real question you should be asking is, how can I afford to spend more to get a lead and a customer than any of my competition? Because in business, whoever is willing to and able to spend the most to get a customer will always win. So what that means is that you need to look at your entire business and figure out, how do I not reduce the cost to acquire a lead and the cost to acquire a customer, but instead, how do I increase the value of the customer to my business? There's a simple test that every business owner can take called the $1 million test. And it's a very simple question. How many transactions do I need in my business to make $1 million? So for example, if you're selling $1 widgets, it's going to take you 1 million transactions to get to $1 million. But if you're selling $1 million products, it's only going to take you 1 transaction to get to $1 million. So the first question you need to ask yourself is, how do I reduce the number of transactions that it takes for me to get to $1 million? Now, the way to do this is by making each customer more valuable to your company, because the more valuable they are to your company, the more you can spend to acquire a customer. For example, I used to sell a coaching program for $50,000, and it was basically 90% margin, which meant that for every $50,000 I would make, I would actually profit around $40,000. So when you have that much profit, you can pretty much spend whatever you want to get a customer. It really doesn't matter. Now, that's an extreme example, but that's showing you how if I have that much margin and my competitor maybe only makes $5,000 per customer, well, I can do all kinds of crazy stuff that they can't do. I can spend $20,000 on all kinds of custom marketing and all kinds of crazy stuff that they can't do because my customer is so much more valuable to me. So how do you make a customer more valuable? Well, the first thing you can do is you can raise your prices. Most people don't charge enough. So I would play around with your pricing, and I would try raising your price 10%, 15%, 20%, and just kind of keep raising your prices until people stop buying. Every single time I have ever raised my prices, the only thing that's happened is I've made more money. But you can't raise your prices indefinitely without providing more value. The next question is, how do I provide more value to my customers so that I can charge them? And the way that you do that is by asking a couple of questions. The first question is, what is the result that they're actually looking for? What are they actually buying when they buy your product or your service? The next question is, how can I deliver that result faster to them? Because people will pay for speed. So if you can figure out a way to get them the result that they're looking for faster, you can charge more money for that. The next question is, how can I reduce the amount of effort that they have to put in and the amount that they have to sacrifice to get the result? The more work and the more effort and sacrifice that you can take off of them and put on your shoulders, you can charge for that and people will pay for that. Now, the next question is, okay, well, what are the other problems that they have and what problems are created as a result of buying my product or service? Because the truth is that people hire you because they have a problem. And then you solve that problem, but that problem then creates other problems. Just think, what are the next problems that you need to solve? You can then go ahead and solve those problems, or you can form affiliates or partnership deals with people that solve those problems, and you can monetize that way. But if you put yourself in a situation where you can spend more to acquire a customer than anyone else in your market, you will win every single time because you can do things that your competitors can't do to get customers. And that is how you ultimately win. It's not about how cheap you can get a customer. It's how much are you willing and able to spend to get a customer. Okay, so this next tip lets you show up in front of your ideal customers without having to compete with any competitors over attention or ad space. It's kind of like walking into a room where everybody wants what you offer and nobody else is selling it. A couple of years ago, I was at an exotic car show in Tampa, Florida, and I was walking around and just looking at all the vendors, and I noticed there was a very strange vendor that didn't really fit in at the car show. It was Tempur-Pedic beds. It was a company that was selling beds, mattresses, at a car show. So on the surface, this doesn't make any sense. Why would you be selling mattresses at a car show? Well, the reason why is because Tempur-Pedic knows their customer. They know that they are selling a higher priced bed to a more affluent customer. And who goes to exotic car shows? Affluent customers. So even though we weren't at a home show or a bed show, we were still at a location where lots and lots of people who need beds and can afford a Tempur-Pedic mattress are all gathered. Tempur-Pedic understands the concept of out of category placement. And they know that just because it's a car show and it has nothing to do with homes or beds or anything like that, there's still going to be a ton of people there that are their ideal avatar. So they set up a booth there, and lo and behold, when I walked by, there was a lot of people at that booth. There was people laying down on the mattresses, testing it out. Their theory worked really well because once you understand who your ideal customers are, you don't have to advertise in the standard places. You can figure out, okay, where else do my customers hang out that might not even be in my category, yet I can get in front of them. And when I do this, I'm not going to have any competition. There was no other bed companies at this car show. And there's a lot of companies that are doing this. So for example, I know the Yellow Pages are pretty much dead, but they still exist, believe it or not. And I was flipping through the Yellow Pages the other day because I saw one laying around, and I happened to open the Yellow Pages to the dermatologist section. And the funny part is that there were some dermatologists that advertised in there, but there's also advertisements for Proactive. That's a company that is not a dermatologist, but they deal with acne. And they figure that if you're looking for a dermatologist, then maybe you can just skip the dermatologist and buy their product instead. I'm sure it works very well. I also happened to flip through the nursing home section. And in the nursing home section, I saw there's contractors in there. There's hover around scooters advertising in there, because the theory is if you're looking for a home for your mom and your dad, but instead you could maybe make some modifications with a contractor and get them a scooter so they can move around. Maybe they don't even have to go to a nursing home in the first place. So ask yourself, first of all, who are you actually selling to and where else do they hang out? What are the out of category placements that you can advertise, that you can insert yourself so that even though they're not necessarily looking for you, you can put yourself right in their line of sight and likely get a lot of business that way. And the other cool thing is your competitors are going to be nowhere in sight. Okay, so now the next step gives your business instant credibility. It's the kind of credibility that you would normally have to work years and years and years to attain. It's one simple move that makes people trust you faster and take you more seriously right away. And that is the power of celebrity leverage. Now, celebrities can come in a few forms, and lucky for us, they're more accessible than ever. But when you can align a celebrity with your brand, people will automatically put your brand at a higher level because people, for whatever reason, trust celebrities. Now, celebrities can come in a few different forms. You've obviously got the top of the top tier, which is like your Kim Kardashians and your Tom Cruises and your Brad Pitts and all those types of people. But there's lots and lots of different levels of celebrity, all the way from your Kim Kardashians and your Tom Cruises down to local influencers and local DJs on the radio and people that have followings on Instagram that are just local to your area. In fact, one of the easiest things you can do now is go to Cameo, and you can hire celebrities who you've seen on your favorite television shows and athletes and musicians, and you can pay them to do advertisements for your brand. And the crazy part is that people don't realize how easy it is to get these people to endorse your brand. But when you do this, it's going to take your brand to another level. It's going to make people pay attention to you, and it typically is going to allow you to borrow their social status and apply it to your brand. That's why the power of celebrity is so important. Using celebrity leverage is one of the easiest ways to increase your brand's social trust and awareness without spending a ton of money, and you can do it really, really quickly using celebrities. Okay, so this next step is how you get people to stop saying, "I'll think about it," and get them to actually commit and buy now. Whenever you're making an offer to anyone, you always need to make sure that there is some sort of urgency in that offer, because if people don't have a deadline of when they are going to need to make a decision by, they will just basically never make a decision because they kind of feel like they have an indefinite amount of time. And the longer that it takes for them to make a decision, the less likely they are to actually buy. So the easiest way to instill some sort of urgency is to add in some sort of bonus that goes away if they don't make a decision by a particular point. People love to procrastinate, and the funny part is that you'll see people make decisions right at the last minute so that they don't lose the bonus. And that's how we know that urgency works so well. So one of the ways that we've grown my coaching business and my marketing agency in the legal industry is we do these 3-day live events. And on day 2 of the event, we make an offer for everyone that's attending the event to work with us. And we offer some pretty crazy bonuses that we don't offer anywhere outside of these events. And we do get a lot of people that sign up on day 2. And then on day 3, we reintroduce the offer and some people will buy again. But then at the end, we set a deadline. We do a repitch at about 3 o'clock on day 3. And we say, okay, here's the offer one more time. You guys have 10 more minutes. And when the clock hits 0, no more bonuses. The bonuses all go away. The funny part is that we'll sell more in the last 5 minutes where we are talking about the offer once again, but more importantly, talking about everything that they're going to lose if they don't buy right now. We sell more during that 5-minute period than the entire event. And it's because we're introducing that urgency. We're saying if you don't buy by this period, all these bonuses that we sold you on that sound awesome because they are awesome will go away and you're going to miss out. Adding that urgency is critical to getting more people to make a decision and buy. Your goal is to get them off the fence and to make a decision. Even if the decision is no, you want to make sure that they have a deadline when they have to make a decision by. And the truth is, a lot of people will move forward, and that will make your business grow so much faster because these are people that if time went on, they would just continue to sit on the fence and sit on the fence and sit on the fence. And every single minute they're on the fence is less likely that they're going to come back and buy from you. Okay, so now this next step is going to allow you to expand your reach, boost your credibility, and get in front of audiences that you never would have had access to, all without spending a dime. And this is one of the most powerful strategies you can use because it allows you to, first of all, increase the value of your customers, like we talked about in step 1, without actually having to do anything. And second, it allows you to get more customers without having to spend money on ads to bring in those customers. So earlier in this video, I gave you a couple questions that you can ask yourself in order to make your customers more valuable. And one of those questions was, what other problems do your customers have as a result of hiring you or while they're using your product or your service? Some of these problems you can solve yourself by adding additional services to your business, but there's going to be other problems that other companies solve that you have no interest or no ability to solve for them. So that's a great opportunity for you to provide a referral to other businesses and send your customers and your clients their way so that they can solve the problem. And then in exchange, you can either get an affiliate fee or you can get a referral payment, or you do a deal where you send them business and they send you business and everybody wins. There's a lot of opportunity when you are talking about strategic partnerships if you can find the right partners and then you can cut the right types of deals. But the easiest way to start is to figure out what are the problems that your customers currently have. Now, one of my favorite things to do is to actually make the strategic partner part of your offer. And when you do that, it makes your offer more valuable, which makes your customers more likely to hire you. Your strategic partners are happy and they're more likely to send you business back as well. Let me give you a perfect example. Well, I work with a family law attorney, and the family law attorney has a strategic partnership with a therapist. So the family law attorney made it part of her offer. And she now says, well, when you hire us, not only do you get our representation, but you're also going to get 2 free sessions with this therapist because often divorces are very emotional and you're going to need somebody to talk to. So on the back end, the family law attorney has a deal with the therapist. The therapist agrees to provide 2 free sessions to all of the family law attorney's clients. And then from there, a large percentage of the clients will continue to stay on as patients, and that's when they start to pay. Now, in exchange for this, the therapist agrees that anytime one of her patients says, I need a family law attorney, she refers to the family law attorney. And this is a massive win for both the therapist and the family law attorney. And the family law attorney has worked out these types of deals with lots of different businesses. She's done this with personal trainers. She's done this with mortgage brokers. She's done this with real estate agents. And the cool thing is that this has allowed her to make an amazing offer to her potential clients that they can't get anywhere else. And now not only does she have a better offer that makes her more appealing to her potential clients, but she's getting referrals left and right from all these different businesses that have nothing to do with the legal industry. They're not lawyers, but they all have her ideal clients and they're sending her business left and right. Now, there's lots of examples if you look all around of businesses working together to form strategic partnerships. One of my favorites is the deal that Taco Bell and Doritos have with the Doritos Locos Taco. They took a Dorito, they turned it into a taco shell, and now Doritos and Taco Bell are both benefiting from this partnership. And I would imagine that no money's actually exchanging hands, but because they're partnering with each other, they're both benefiting and they're both reaping the rewards. Okay, so this next step is one of the absolute easiest ways to grow your business so fast that it feels illegal, yet almost no businesses actually do this. And the simple way to do this is just follow up more with everything that you do. So for example, a lot of people will run Facebook ads and they'll run Instagram ads, but then when somebody visits your website or they visit your profile or they engage with one of your ads, there's no follow-up. There's no additional ads that are shown to them. A lot of times somebody will come into your location or they'll call and they'll do a consultation and they won't buy, but then there's no follow-up. There's no picking up the phone and calling, and there's no staying in touch. There's no adding in the email list. There's no sending a text message. If you follow up, you are much more likely to get the sale because the majority of people are not ready to buy right now. In fact, there's tons and tons of research out there that show that most sales come between the 5th and the 12th touch with a brand. But most brands only touch 1, maybe 2 times. So the more frequent you follow up, and the more frequently you put these systems in place so that they're just seeing you over and over and over again, the more likely they are to actually buy your stuff, just because of the fact that sometimes people just need to be reminded over and over and over and over again. How many times have you been in a situation where you want to buy something and you intend to buy something, but you don't buy it right then, and then you forget about it? And then as time goes on, it becomes less and less and less important. But how many times have you been thinking about that, you forgot about it, and then you see it again, and then you're like, oh, right, I need to get that. And then you go and you buy it. That's what your customers are doing. You need to follow up over and over and over and over again. One of the most important things that I've ever done in any of my businesses is install a follow-up system so that we borderline stalk you when you come to our website, you engage with our social posts. We're not going to stop until you buy or you unsubscribe, or basically one of us dies. Because I understand the value of follow-up. I have people that have been following me since 2017, 2018, 2019, and they don't make a purchase until 2024, 2025. And I'm sure we have people that are going to buy even in the future that have been following me since 2017, 2018, 2019. They still haven't bought. But because I'm remaining present and they're seeing me over and over and over again, via ads, via social media, and via my email list. And our BDR team calls them and our SDR team calls them. Because we're doing this constant follow-up, our business will always grow. So this is one of the easiest things you can do, is just put in follow-up. And if you don't have manual follow-up right now, at least put in remarketing ads so that somebody that hits your website or engages with your social posts will start to see you over and over and over again. Okay, so now this next step is something that makes people actually want to work with you. It not only makes you in demand, but it also allows you to charge more, and it allows you to pick and choose who your customers are rather than having to take everybody. So in business, the thing that you have to understand is that you get paid more for who you are rather than what you do. A great example is Dr. Phil. Is Dr. Phil the best therapist out there? Probably not. He's probably far from it. What about Dr. Oz? Is Dr. Oz the best doctor out there? I don't think so. However, Dr. Phil and Dr. Oz make significantly more money than therapists and doctors that are more talented, more educated, and frankly, more accomplished than they are. But the reason that Dr. Oz and Dr. Phil and so many other people in this category get paid so much is because you get paid more for who you are rather than what you do. And it's funny because I work with lawyers, and so many of my clients get upset if there's a new lawyer out there that has better marketing but is not quite as talented of a lawyer as they are. They get upset that they're beating them. And I have to remind them over and over and over again that you don't get paid for what you do, you get paid for who you are. So how do we fix this? Well, the solution is you just have to become a local celebrity. And becoming a local celebrity is actually really, really easy. All you have to do is think about who is your avatar that you're targeting. So who are your ideal customers? And then make a list of every single problem that they have. And then start filming social media videos that solve every single one of those problems, and just one video per problem. And what you do is just get into a habit of posting every single day. And then what's going to happen is some videos are going to do better than others. The videos that do better than others, you're going to boost those using ads. And you don't have to spend much, maybe $100 a week. And you're going to boost those ads so that those videos are shown in a 10-mile radius of your office or a 20-mile radius of your office. It's going to be custom to you. But if you do this on a regular basis, then what's going to happen is within 3 or 4 months, you are going to be a local celebrity. People are going to start watching your videos. They're going to start recognizing you, and you're going to be the one that they want to hire. In fact, just yesterday, I had a client send me a message and he sent me a video that made him $50,000 in fees. Just one video, simply by using this strategy. If you do this strategy, I promise you within 3 or 4 months, you will be a local celebrity and people will start paying you more for who you are rather than what you do. Now, if you happen to be fantastic at what you do, that's even better. But you have to remember there's no correlation with being good at your thing and getting paid for it, but there's a direct correlation with being good at marketing your thing and getting paid for it. But if you can do both, be good at your thing and be good at marketing it, well, that's where you're going to hit a home run. So those are 7 ways to grow your business so fast that it feels illegal. But there's actually another thing you can do that's going to grow your business even faster. And that is to outrank all the businesses that you're competing with in the Google 3PAP. And I filmed the video that you can watch right here that shows you exactly how to do that.